hope that before you create your own resume, you will look at some of the examples of resumes in your textbooks. Some of the best examples for students in our curriculum area are found on pages 122, 123, and 130. These are resumes for students in a curriculum similar to yours. They are also resumes composed by students who do not have work experience in their field of study, which is true for many, if not most, of the students who take professional development. Notice how in those resumes, education is emphasized over work experience. If, however, you are already working in your field, especially if you have several years of experience in your field, you will probably want to put your professional experience ahead of education on your resume. Remember that a hiring decision maker typically looks at your resume for only a few seconds before deciding whether to keep it for further review or toss it into the recycling bin. In the first third of that resume, you need to present that person with compelling reasons to hold on to that resume, so do not waste that space. If you look about a third of the way down that first page, that is what they're going to look at first, and that's what makes the most impact. So you want to be careful about what you have there. One of the first decisions you need to make is the decision about whether to have an objective or a profile for your resume. An objective talks about what you're looking for. A profile talks about who you are. Now, some experts advise that this is old thinking and you don't need either, but many employers will expect you to have one or the other. If you use the objective, you want to avoid one of the major pitfalls of the objective, which is to talk about what you expect to gain from the position rather than what you have to offer the organization. Avoid gain experience, further develop my skills, advance in my field, secure stable employment, and other self-referential expressions. You do not want to be talking about what you want, not in this job market. You want to talk about what you have to offer the organization. If you look over the profile in the handout, Make Over My Resume, and scroll down to the second page to the revised resume, you will see how the profile in that example emphasizes the applicant's skills. It's all about what she has to offer. Whether you do an objective or a profile, it should emphasize what you offer to the organization. Every resume should have a skills section. If you will look at Make Over My Resume, you will see an area called Areas of Expertise. That is the skills section. You should have one, and the skills you list should be those needed in that position. Use parallel phrasing. For example, notice that all the skills listed below are noun phrases. Research skills, communication skills, knowledge of MS Word, proficiency in MS Excel, ability to multitask, all of those begin with a noun. They're all noun phrases. Be careful not to use jargon that the reviewer of your resume would find unfamiliar. For example, do not use terms you used in previous industrial positions that have no relevance for the office environment. Do not use terminology for processes or software that are no longer used or are irrelevant to the position for which you are applying. I actually see that a lot. Lots of people come into professional development thinking, oh, I don't need to work on a resume. I have a resume. And when I look at that resume, it immediately dates the person because it's filled with out-of-date terminology and out-of-date technology jargon that for processes or technology that's just not used anymore. So, you want to be careful with that. You do need to keep your resume fresh. In your education section, you need to list only your college credential. Unless you are less than 2 years out of high school, don't bother with high school. List your college, major, expected degree, and the date you expect to graduate. If your GPA is good, consider listing it. You also might list any honors you have achieved. And I give an example. Gaston College, AAS in Medical Office Administration, May 2015. GPA 3.7, President's List, Fall 2013. Dean's List, Spring 2014. I also suggest that you list some of your most relevant courses. A person who is an MOA major, for example, might list Medical Terminology 1 and 2, Anatomy and Physiology, Medical Legal Issues, Medical Coding and Billing, Medical Transcription, Records Management, and Medical Office Simulation. A student with a major in Office Administration might list Keyboarding, Word Processing, Microsoft Office Applications, Advanced Microsoft Office Applications, Office Finance Solutions, and Records Management. Once again, look at the list of qualifications for the position for which you are applying, or for a typical position that might interest you, and think about your own strengths when compiling this list. When you list your prior jobs, list the most recent first. Try to make whatever you have done sound relevant to the new position. Iyanla Vanzant once said, she was talking about hair at the time, but it works for all of life, it's not what you've got, it's what you do with it. That should be your mantra for listing prior work experience. Emphasize skills that transfer from your old job to the new one. Those are going to be things like good customer service skills, communication skills, organizational skills, problem-solving skills, and so on. Do not use the expression responsible for. Use action verbs. Do not say, at the end of your resume, references available upon request. Even if it's on the template you might be using, get rid of it. Read the chapter in your textbook. It says, do not use references available upon request. This is not just my opinion. The textbook says don't put it at the bottom of your resume. Do not include any personal information such as marital status, number of children, age, or health status. Do not use first-person pronouns such as I, me, or my. Use phrases rather than complete sentences. For example, say, ordered supplies, maintained inventory, answered multi-line phone, greeted walk-in clients, and so on. Proofread, and proofread again. Ask others to proofread for you. There should be no errors, no errors in this document. Many people, by the way, treat Career Action 6-4, Career Action 6-5, and Career Action 6-6 like checklists. They just submit the checklist with little check marks. That's not what you're supposed to do. If you read the instructions, you will note that all of them tell you at some point to print out a copy and file it in your Career Management Files Tracker. Remember that you are not submitting a Career Management Files Tracker to me in this class. You are submitting all of those assignments to me online. Now, if you want to print copies and save them for your own use, that's fine. But remember, you are not turning in a physical notebook to me to grade these documents. Therefore, you must copy and paste your resume, an electronic resume, the draft and the final copy of your resume, and the electronic resume, copy and paste them into the worksheets that deal with those documents.